Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're taking a look at the Studio Series 86 Arcee figure. Let's see what number it is. It's number 16, according to this box. This figure, I have mixed feelings about this figure. I've already gotten into some words with people on some Twitter over this figure. So I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. If you disagree with my opinion, you disagree with my opinion. Just please keep it courteous down in the comments. So this figure is based off of the 1986 version of Arcee from the 86 movie, the one voiced by Susan Blue. It transforms into a futuristic pink sports car. And yeah. So, Arcee isn't a very, very impossible figure to do. She is, and that has to do with the fact that she didn't have a toy. She was designed for the movie, and then the movie could kind of do whatever they want. Whereas most of the other Transformers already had toys made before the 86 movie. The 86 cast is kind of like a hodgepodge of repaints and new figures. So like, if you were to see an Optimus Prime toy, even though the cartoon looked different, it still was an Optimus Prime, and you could see how it would transform. Arcee didn't have that functionality. She literally just drawn for the cartoon movie, and because of that, her kibble is a wee bit of a nightmare. No matter what you do for the price points that Hasbro does, it's impossible to get the look you want. Whereas she just has very, very basic background there. Sorry, gold bugs in that shot. But as you can see, this is not something that is easily able to do, and which is why Arcee, primarily over the past 20 some odd years, when you use the character name Arcee, isn't a car. It's usually a motorcycle, and that allows them to keep the feminine shape. That being said, one of my favorite modern figures is the Thrilling 30 Arcee. As you see here, for those of you who watch my channel, I even have the Nightbird version of this. And, I collect Arcee figures because she's one of the few female characters that gets toys. So I have her Earthrise figure, which I never bother reviewing because it's that bad. I have her Cyberverse figure. I have the Masterpiece figure. And now this. And I wasn't initially going to pick it up because I thought it was going to be based off of the Earthrise figure, which, like I said, is not a figure I'm very fond of. It looks like a pink bar of soap, and it is 100% shell former. So hearing that this was going to be a retool of the Thrilling 30 made me excited. And as I did watch other reviewers, I did get a little bit excited for this figure. Now, that being said, I still prefer the Thrilling 30, and we'll talk about that as we go on here, especially once we get to robot mode. But as you can see here, just looking at the car itself, it is a beautifully sleek looking car. You do get wheels. It does roll. You just have to make sure you have this whole section pinned in tightly. The gun fell out. I wonder where that went to. She does come with a gun. I don't know where it went. It was in here when I started. Oh well. But yeah, as you can see, the gun store's in here. I'll have to try to find that in a moment here. Let me take a look around my room real fast. Sorry about that. We're back. But yeah, so the gun does store in here, kind of, sort of. I'm probably not doing it right, but you can put it in and it still rolls. So yeah. But otherwise, yeah, it is pretty sleek, as you see here in the bottom. She does fold up nicely. It does make a nice, clean transformation almost, as compared to, the bottom of the Thrilling 30. And her pieces are now falling off. What the hell is this? Sorry, this desk is a multi-use desk at this point. Yeah, as you can see, she does have a almost a completely different transformation scheme. And this one definitely harkens back to being almost like it's a modernized masterpiece figure, which is really what it kind of is supposed to be. And for that reason, I do like it. Now, again, it is not perfect. And I'll talk about that, especially, I've already mentioned this, I don't want to repeat myself. As far as you can see, I mean, it does look nice. It is a nice looking toy. And I do like this mode. I do think it looks nice. I still prefer this 110%. And the reason for it is I don't like shell formers. Unless it's a beast character, because it kind of makes sense. I want my Transformers, their body parts to become part of the car. And, you know, her legs form the back of the car, whereas this is this plastic shell. And, again, it's apples and oranges, but it's my personal preference. I think if they painted this all in the same pink, and then just you had some sort of turn on the white there, it would make a vast difference. And, you know, again, it's a retool, so it is going to be different in how it transforms and how it acts. And I do like how it transforms. It is a fun transformation. These pieces here do tab into a hole down here. You do bring it out. It's a nice, fun transformation that allows for you to actually have a little bit of a challenge and having fun while still being a shell former. And what that means, what a shell former means, is basically the Transformer has a shell form around it, and you don't need the Transformer to make the car. And as you can see here, with the exception of this piece here, which solidifies the center, and this part here, you can literally build a car. And you don't need any of the robot parts. And that's why I'm not a fan of this figure as much as Thrilling 30. I am harder on the Studio Series figures than I am on the mainline figures because they are like little mini masterpieces, and they are supposed to be. And with this not being a, you know, mainline figure, that this is supposed to be more for older collectors, I want this to have more of a more professional feel to it than just being a shell former. I love my Masterpiece Arcee, even though, you know, this is pretty much just a miniaturized version of it, but you have to have the pieces for it. You can't just take her apart and have the car mode be separate. And that's really it. That's really my big complaint, and that is that she is quite literally a shell former, but not as bad as the Earthrise figure was, or the Kingdom figure, whichever line that actually fell under. Let's go ahead and try to get her to stand real quick. I said stand, and we will adjust the camera here. Now, as you can see, I mean, she does look good. She does look like how Arcee should look from a certain point of view. Again, her backpack. You cannot make an Arcee, unfortunately, without having a backpack, because of the way that she is designed for the cartoon. And you can't get that cartoon-esque backpack without sacrifice. I mean, I've seen some third-party groups do it. I haven't personally bought their figures, and I don't plan to buy their figures. I've only ever bought official Hasbro figures. Now, I will occasionally buy, like, weapon upgrades, or, you know, if there's something just off on a figure, I will buy, like, a slight third-party part, but not enough that I would actually spend money on a figure not by Hasbro. And that's only because, you know, I want Hasbro to be better, and I want them to make it better, and I want them to hear these criticisms, and also the parts I like, so that they understand that, you know, us fans aren't all just these cranky little boys in adult clothing with adult NUI. But yeah, as you can see, sorry, I've been transforming Thrilling 30 in the background here. As you can see how they compare, they are almost completely different in their transformation. So it is pretty much two different figures. Go ahead and just get here the headshots here. Look up, will you? And you do see that, you know, they have a different head sculpt. They have a different look to them. And that is because, this one's based off of IDW and this one's the old cartoon, but it still is Arcee. You still have a feminine face, the Princess Leia buns, and the feminine body. And you do get the backpacks. Now, the backpacks themselves, like I said, they're inevitable. They also help keep the character kind of balanced, in my opinion. But, yeah. So, let's go ahead and take a look at her as far as articulation goes. Again, she's a little too white for me. Let me go back to her. I like how this one has the pink head, versus this is just basically like 2 different shades of white, and it makes it look very bland. And of course, you get the light piping, so if you have a light behind it, you can get a little bit of robotic glow. But yeah, so articulation: head, ball joint; arms, ball joint; wrists, nothing. But you do get the elbow bend there. You do get leg kick, leg bend. You do get foot. You do get ankle bend. Due to transformation, you get the waist bend. And because of how this is designed, you get an ab crunch. So she can bend down, and if you have Spike or Daniel, she can look down on them. Like a condescending teacher that... Oh wait, that's the wrong universe. But yeah, my problem is whenever I use that ab crunch, this whole part comes undone, and then I gotta reattach her. It doesn't connect that well, in my opinion, but it is what it is. Get the head look up, stop looking like that. Now, there is an undocumented feature, and I've seen some other people talk about that. You can actually remove... I said remove. You can remove this, and go ahead and recenter everything. Whenever I do it, everything pops off, so go ahead. And it gives her a little bit more of a cartoon look, a little less backpack, but in the end, you can't make that look right. You can't, for the price point. Now, again, I don't dislike the figure. I don't hate the figure. It is a figure, but I do dig it. She does come with one accessory other than the detachable back, and that is her gun, which is just a paint of this gun. And it does store similarly. You can either plug it into one of the holes on her hips, or if you want to make it look ridiculous, you can point it up here, but typically it does go in her hand. And let's see if I can do this through the camera. Now she can shoot you. And she can hold the other Arcee's weapons as well, because it is pretty much designed to be similar. I mean, it doesn't hold them well, but you can get that sword in there if you force it. It's not letting me. I can do it when I'm not on camera, but come on, click together. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, really, that's my personal opinion of it. Now, it is highly posable, and because it has a backpack, you can balance her. So I do dig it in that respect. And I do like how she looks. I do think it's a great retool, how it's different from what was there before. It's just basically based off the same figure. It is like a miniaturized masterpiece, but I think the colors on it are very bland, and that has to do with the cartoon, I know. But I mean, just comparatively, she just doesn't pop. She's just very, very boring looking, in my opinion. And again, that has to do with the cartoon and the design. But yeah. So other than that, I mean, it is a cool figure. Now, her hands are different. I just realized that her hands are completely different. Sorry, I didn't realize that before. But yeah. So last thoughts. So yes, it is. I still prefer the Thrilling 30, and I'm going to prefer the Thrilling 30 because I do feel like it's a better figure. It's got more weight to it. I think the plastic feels better. This piece doesn't come done every time I pose it. I do like that this has the ab crunch, and I do like how the hands store in vehicle mode. They're not just kind of lying there. But I do think it is a step backwards with going to being a shell former. And yeah, that's really my opinion of it. You are more than welcome to argue with me down below. Just please keep it polite. Um, but yeah, this is... I don't think I have anything else to review for a while. So this might be it for at least a week or two. Please comment down below. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you would want to see next, and what you would like to see next. Thank you very much for watching.